Hello and welcome to the Brutal Iron Gym podcast, where our goal is to cut through the BS and deliver the brutal truth about topics related to health and happiness. So today's topic is nutrition, and the title is Don't Skip Breakfast. So real quick, I just want to kind of say thank you to the patrons of the podcast who help financially support the podcast. We sincerely appreciate your support because the podcast isn't free, and the gym and myself, I'm happy to pay for it because it's a great way to kind of like give back to the world and give back to just the spirit of human beings, in the sense of the help that I've been given in my life and wanting to give back that help to others. So I am happy to do the podcast, and I'll continue to do the podcast, Lord willing, as long as I can. But I do sincerely appreciate the people who help support the financial aspect of it. It really does help kind of ease the burden of this and allow the gym and myself to still kind of make enough money to, keep the business going and up and running. So thank you to those who support the podcast in that way, and thank you to those who share the podcast. So it is exciting to see when people share the podcast. Makes me feel good, and it's cool that it makes me know that we're getting better information out into the world. So one of the podcasts I'm planning on making here relatively soon and making a social media post about is just some of the things you see advertised about. Like there was a water drink, some kind of like smart water or fancy water drink that was supposed to help you lose fat on your butt. So it's just supposed to only help like eliminate like cellulite on your hips and thighs. There's not a chance in hell that has any fact of actually working. That's ridiculous and doesn't make any damn sense. And they're charging a stupid amount of money for the product. And just seeing people do that is just horrible, horrible, horrible. So the fact that we can share good information out into the world is just amazing and awesome. And I'm extremely happy to those and thankful to those who support the podcast by sharing it. Okay, enough of me BSing, but I do sincerely appreciate it. So thank you. I don't thank you guys enough. Thank you. Okay, so recently someone asked me, it was a trainer, and they had a client who asked them about skipping breakfast as a potential way to lose body fat. And their thought was, well, if I eat less, I'll burn more body fat off, and I don't really like eating breakfast anyhow, so I'm just going to skip that and wait till lunch. Well, that's stupid. We've talked in many times over about intermittent fasting and different types of diets, and where you have just kind of like extremely long periods of time without food, and that does help move the number on the scale, but it doesn't do any other positive thing. Meaning it will still wreck your metabolism, it will still kill your energy levels. You'll have to supplement with a crap load of caffeine, and you just won't be your best in terms of performance. There's a whole bunch of negativity to denying the body food. Now, sometimes people will do it for, cleanses of digestive system, and people do like fasts to try to get like clarity in life, and to each of those things their own, blah, blah, blah. But in general, it is not good to deprive the body of food. Now, we don't want to eat so much that we become ridiculously obese, of course. So I'm not saying, one extreme or the other. It's just if we have an option in order to lose body fat, we know that we have to reduce calories. But that gives us an option of a right or a wrong way, or a more better or a less better way of doing that. So if you want to learn more about intermittent fasting, the pros and cons of that diet, there's one podcast, number 129. We do talk about starvation style diets, which are intermittent fasting and keto. So you can listen more to those about that and learn why that's not necessarily the best way to do it. So you will move the scale. You will absolutely lose weight. If you follow the rules of intermittent fasting and ketogenic diets, you will lose weight. But it's not long-term successful. It's not long-term health beneficial. There's a lot of downsides and negatives to that style of dieting, and there is no reason why you have to follow ways of nutrition that cause negative health effects. Okay? So what we want to look at is we do need to reduce calories to help reduce body fat. That's true. If I'm overeating, and that's why I'm overweight, if I eat less, I will weigh less. We know that's true. We're not denying that. Okay? But it's how we eat less that can make a difference, pros or cons. So in podcast number 41, titled Diet Right, What Matters Most, we talk about the most important components of a diet. Calories is the most significant thing. That's absolutely where you should put your first initial intention and efforts and attention to is calories. Number two, the second most impactful thing is how much protein you have. Yes. So macronutrient balance, how much protein you have. The third most important thing is meal timing. The fourth most important thing is the types of foods that you eat, whether something's organic or not, or wheat versus white and stuff like that. So in podcast 41, you can learn more about the components of a diet, but what of those components makes the most difference and therefore should have most of your attention. Okay, so we know that we need to reduce calories to reduce body fat. Good, we got that. But we don't want to reduce calories before activity. We want to reduce calories during or after activity. So let's think about this. Is we want to run the machine of our body and at the end of the day not have excessive calories. This doesn't mean we shouldn't eat and have calories to kind of do repairs and maintenance work as we sleep. I just mean like excess in the point of like there's too many calories so you're going to gain body fat from it. So we want to fuel our machine, but then at the end of the day not have leftover fuel. Okay? So if we undereat before we do anything, we just don't eat and we start doing. Then as we eat the rest of the day, our goal is to try to catch up to what we needed. And sometimes we do overeat, sometimes we undereat. It's better to eat with your activity. Okay, so you need to eat as you move, as you do things. You eat beforehand, you eat during, and then you regulate how much you need, whether you're falling behind or going ahead. So calorie maintenance, calorie control is best done during and after activity, not beforehand. So if you reduce calories beforehand and you get into activity being underfed, that actually increases the body's priority of maintaining and retaining body fat. So body fat is stored calories. It's just calories that our body stored for times when we don't have enough food coming in. It can use the body fat for fuel. So that's all it is. Body fat is just stored fuel. Excuse me for a second. So body fat is stored fuel. Well, it is there to protect us from times of being underfed. If we intentionally underfeed ourselves to start the day every day, meaning I skip breakfast, that means my body's going to say, wow, I'm really happy I have this body fat to make up for the time in which this person isn't eating. If they're not eating and I still need calories, I'm glad I have this body fat. I really need this body fat. So, anytime your body has a chance to kind of choose to get rid of it or not, it won't. It'll fight the process of getting rid of body fat because it deems body fat to be necessary. Now, if you eat before you're active, the body didn't really need body fat. You eat what you need while you're active, the body didn't really need body fat. And then you kind of taper off your calories as your activity levels taper off throughout the day. Your body didn't really need body fat. You were feeding it just enough for what it needed for energy and activity throughout the day. Therefore, it doesn't need body fat. It'll be more likely to get rid of it because it doesn't want to have to go through the work of dealing with it, maintaining it, or whatever those kind of maintenance-based activities are. So, by eating beforehand, before activity, we deem fat to be unimportant, and our body's more likely to get rid of it. If we eat after activity, if we go through activity underfed, our body will place a greater priority on retaining and maintaining body fat. So any chance at all that it has of any degree of a surplus. So say you go through the day, you're underfed because you didn't eat breakfast. Then all of a sudden you eat maybe a little bit too much for dinner because you were really hungry and you overate at dinner based on the activity level that you needed at the moment of dinner. So your body's going to say, well, I only needed really 500 calories right now, but you just fed me 1,000. So I'm going to save that excess as body fat because I really needed body fat today. Whereas if you eat before and during activity, if you overeat a little bit at night, the body's severely, extremely less likely to store that as body fat. It doesn't deem it to be necessary to hold on to. Okay? The other things we look at is energy and mood. So if you go through your day underfed, you will feel like crap and you won't be super motivated to do anything because your body's going to send you signals continually all day that says, hey, we're not fed for this, don't do that. Hey, we're not fed for this, don't do that. Hey, we're not fed for this, don't do that. So all day, you kind of feel more irritated, you feel more worn out, everything feels more laborsome, and that's because you are depriving your body of the energy that it feels it needs to do activity. Therefore, it'll want to reduce activity. Your energy will be lower, it'll tell you to go to sleep, it'll tell you to sit down, it'll tell you to lie down, it'll tell you to stop doing things because it doesn't have the calories needed to do those things. So your energy will be lower. Your energy will be low, but then you still have to do the tasks of life. You still have to work. You still have to cook. You still have to clean. You still have to, do other odds and ends and errands and whatever our day does. And since we're low in energy, but we still have to do those things, we're going to get moody and aggravated and annoyed. And we're just going to feel like internally angry. And then sometimes that internal anger comes out externally. And we treat people badly. So we need to be careful that underfeeding our day makes us low in energy and low in mood. But if we eat before our activity, we'll have enough energy because we ate the energy. And since we have the energy, our body's more chipper and happy to do things, therefore we're in a better mood. So most people, if they skip breakfast, they will cover over the energy loss with caffeine. That's very dangerous. You want to be careful not to do that because caffeine and no food increases cortisol stress, which increases overall stress in the body. And that can come out in many ways. It can come out in skin irritations. It can come out with like heart problems. You can have a whole bunch of other it's an insane list of what can happen from increased cortisol over the long term. So it's not a positive thing. It's not a good thing. Our body tends to run off of nervous energy rather than healthy energy. So that's something to look at. The other aspect is if we skip breakfast and we don't fuel ourselves before activity, we will look worse. You will have more water retention around your belly and your thighs. You will have a more kind of sloshy, fatty kind of water retention based body. You won't be lean and mean and looking dry and have your best aesthetics. And part of this reason why is because due to cortisol. So when our cortisol is stressed, when our body is stressed, our body releases water from the cells, and you have a lot more subcutaneous, like under the skin type water, and that will collect itself in like a muffin top. It'll thicken up your already fatty spots of the body. So if you already had kind of like the saddlebags in your thigh, they'll be fuller and thicker because there'll be more water under your skin. If you eat calories before you're active, the body has to break those down, process them, and it uses water to do that. It then takes any carbohydrates that are in your food, stores it with water and sodium, and puts it in your muscles, and everything feels tighter. So if you eat before your activity, you will already look better, even if you don't lose weight. Okay? So what we really want to look to do is if I know I need to reduce calories to lose body fat. Let's assume that you're eating the right calories. Okay, so podcast 153 titled How Many Calories Do I Need will tell you how many calories you need. And it's important to know that because eating too few of calories actually prevents fat loss. There is actually eating too less of calories that'll actually stop you from losing body fat. And we actually talk about that in podcast 426 titled Why Eating Less Isn't Good for Fat Loss. So you can check that podcast out. So check out 153 to make sure you're eating the right amount of calories. You can check out 426 to know why reducing your calories too much is a bad thing. Negative. You will not lose fat. Okay? So let's assume you're eating the right calories. Where do you want to get those kind of reductions from? How do you want to take away from your daily foods to have the right type of caloric restriction that won't cause all the negatives but cause all the positives? Well, you want to reduce calories starting from the end of the day. You want to get rid of that snack you have after dinner if you don't really need it. You want to then reduce calories from dinner. You probably don't need as many carbohydrates and fats, which are our energy nutrients. If you're not doing anything physical, you probably don't need the physical beneficial calories from fats and carbs. You still want to have protein because protein helps repair structures of the body, but you want to reduce carbs and fats. Then from there, you would then reduce calories further from the middle of the day. So typically our activity level follows a curve. We wake up, we start to become active, we're more active during the middle of the day, then as the day wears on, become less and less and less active. So it has that curve to it, where we ramp up our energy and activity during the day, we ramp it down toward into the night. Your calories should follow that. You want to eat a little bit in the mornings, and then eat more and more as you get more active, eat less and less if you get less active. That's the best way to structure your calories, is to match them to your activity level. Now, we talk about this in the podcast Meal Timing, number 249, and why that's really important and how beneficial it is. So, it's true that you need to reduce calories to reduce body fat, assuming you have an adequate amount of calories. Okay, and again, we talked about 426, podcast 426 talks about why eating less isn't good for fat loss if you eat too little. But let's assume you're eating within the right window. Reducing calories does help lose body fat. However, you want to reduce from the end of the day, not before the day. So that way you can have better long-term beneficial metabolic effects, so your body won't have trouble losing fat later on because you accidentally prioritize the need for body fat. You'll have better energy and mood throughout the day, and you'll actually look better. So there is tons and tons and tons of benefits about the right meal timing to your activity level and how that helps you. So we talk about that in podcast 329, meal frequency effects on diets, and how the frequency in which you eat meals, how well you fuel yourself based on your activity level, helps all aspects of health, not just body weight. So remember that the scale doesn't measure everything. The scale measures weight loss, doesn't measure fat loss, and it doesn't measure your mood, your energy, the quality of your diet. It doesn't measure whether what you're doing right now could have long-term potential negatives. It doesn't measure any of that. So don't base everything off the scale. Okay? So if you want to reduce calories, reduce them by the end of the day and start backwards from there. Do not reduce calories before activity. Reduce it during and after. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. Now, like I said in the beginning, please, 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 if you think this stuff is helpful, please share it. The more we can pass around good information, the better. Just kind of eliminate everybody saying all this stupid stuff that you see out there in the world. So the more we can understand how the body works, the better we can understand how to manipulate it. So please, please, please go listen to the podcast we mentioned, especially number 41, Diet Right, What Matters Most. Go learn what's most important in a diet, so that way you'll know what to kind of change and modify in order to get the results that you want. Okay? So please share this if you think it's helpful. The more people we help, the happier the world will be. Also, if you like this information, you can find more from us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brutal Iron Gym. And if you have any questions, feedback, or suggestions, we'd love to hear from you. The podcast is for you, so we want to know what you want to learn about. You can tell us at our email at brutaliron@gmail.com. As always, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening. And thank you for watching.